Ethan Carter adjusted his helmet, the faint sounds of the Lynx 47's alarm echoing in his ears. He squinted at the control panel, desperately seeking some flicker of hope amid the chaos. One moment, they had been cruising through the vast expanse of space, and the next, the ship was spiraling toward the unknown surface of an alien planet. "Hang on, Ethan," shouted his co-pilot, Lisa, gripping her seat as the forces sent her sprawling. "The stabilizers are going. We're going down. We're not gonna crash." Ethan called back, though he wasn't fully convinced. He wrestled with the controls, trying to right the ship, but it was futile. The Lynx 47 shuddered violently as it broke through the atmosphere, flames licking around the cockpit. Everything turned chaotic as the ground rushed up to meet them. Ethan braced himself for impact, and in one gut-wrenching moment, all went black. When Ethan regained consciousness, the smell of burnt metal pushed through the haze. He blinked against the bright light filtering through the cracks of twisted hull. Slowly he moved, assessing his surroundings. The cockpit was wrecked, but Lisa, she was missing. "Lisa," he called, his voice hoarse and shaky. No answer came. Panic flared in his chest. He made his way out of the destroyed cockpit, needing to find her. "Lisa," he yelled again, stumbling through the wreckage that once was the Lynx 47. The ship had crashed in a dense forest, vibrant greenery framing the wreck, a stark contrast to the destruction. He pushed through the tangled underbrush, calling her name, worry clawing at his insides. He spotted movement nearby. "Lisa," he called again, rushing toward the silhouette. "Ethan," came a weak response, and he broke into a sprint, dodging branches that reached out like grasping hands. There she was, sitting against a tree, her forehead bleeding. Relief flooded him, but it was short-lived as he realized the severity of her injuries. He knelt beside her. "Are you okay? What happened?" "I think I hit my head." "The ship, it just went down," she groaned, wincing. "Just stay still. Let's get that bleeding stopped." He tore a strip of fabric from his shirt and pressed it against her forehead. "We need to find a way back to the ship, Inne." "Ethan," she interrupted, her gaze drifting towards something behind him. He turned to follow her line of sight, and his breath caught in his throat. A figure emerged from the thick underbrush, a woman, radiant and ethereal, with skin that shimmered in hues of blue and purple. Her eyes, deep violet, seemed to hold galaxies within them. He staggered back, unsure if this was a dream or some illusion. "Who are you?" Ethan managed, heart racing. The alien woman tilted her head, studying him intently. "I am Lyriel," she said, her voice melodic and soft. "I did not wish to intrude. I only came to see if you needed help." "Help?" Lisa said, her voice filled with disbelief. From her?" "Wait," Ethan said, raising his hand to calm her. He turned back to Lyriel. "You know English?" "I have learned from those who have come before," Lyriel replied. "I can understand you and speak your language. Why would you help us?" Ethan asked, still wary yet fascinated. "I am the last of my kind," Lyriel said, her expression shifting to one of sadness. "I wish to help those in need, particularly your kind, as I have seen much destruction." Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. "Why do you say that?" "Your technology," she replied, gesturing to the wreckage behind him. "Many have come seeking power. Many have fallen." "Power?" Lisa said, her skepticism fading slightly. "What do you mean?" "Your ship was a beacon, drawing those who would use your kind for their own purposes," Lyriel explained. "I sensed you would come to no harm, but more may follow. You must move quickly." "What else did you sense?" Ethan asked, curiosity outweighing his caution. "Danger," Lyriel said simply. "And a bond between you." Ethan exchanged a glance with Lisa. "A bond," he repeated. "Do you not feel it?" Lyriel asked, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Ethan blinked at her, then shifted slightly closer to Lisa, who had suddenly gone quiet. "I think I understand what you're getting at," Ethan said, clearing his throat. "But we can't leave her here. We need to find a safe place." Lyriel nodded, her expression serious. "I can guide you. Follow me." "Wait," Lisa interrupted. "You don't even know us." "I know you seek protection," Lyriel replied firmly. "That is enough." Ethan exhaled, glancing between the two women. "Okay. Let's go." Lisa struggled to her feet, leaning heavily against the tree for support. "I'm not sure I like this," she muttered. "We don't have a choice right now, Lisa," Ethan said, keeping his voice steady. "We need to stick together, and this is our best option." Lyriel began to walk, her movements fluid and graceful. They followed her through the dense forest, and as they walked, Ethan marveled at the scenery. The colors were more vibrant than anything he had ever seen, the air filled with fragrant scents that danced around them. "So, Lyriel," Ethan said to break the silence, "what exactly happened to your kind?" She paused, glancing back at him, her eyes reflecting a kind of ancient sorrow. "We were hunted for our gifts, our ability to manipulate light and energy. Those who sought to subjugate us used our own powers against us. I was the last of my people when they took me. Taken? Ethan asked, frowning. Yes, she replied softly. But I escaped not before witnessing devastation. A heavy silence hung over them, and Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that they were heading into an unknown filled with more mysteries than dangers. Thank you for sharing that with us, he said, his voice gentle. We don't mean any harm. Lyriel nodded but remained distant, her thoughts clearly holding shadows of the past. As they trudged deeper into the woods, Ethan felt a strange connection growing not just to Lyriel but also to the entire world around them. The reality of their crash would not be the end of their story. Together, they might forge something new if only they could survive the challenges ahead. Chapter 2: The Connection. Ethan followed Lyriel deeper into the forest, the thick canopy above creating a patchwork of light and shadow on the ground. The air was crisp and slightly fragrant, filled with hints of blooming flowers and earthy dampness. He struggled to keep up with Lyriel's swift pace while Lisa trailed behind, still nursing her injuries. Do you know where we're heading? Lisa asked, her breath coming in short bursts. It's been a while since I've seen anything but trees. Lyriel glanced back, stopping momentarily. There's a clearing ahead. It's a place of safety. Her voice was melodic, but there was an urgency to it. Ethan stole a look at Lisa. She wore a frown, likely still apprehensive about their unexpected guide. We need to trust her, Lisa. She knows this place better than we do. Yeah, but everything sounds a little too perfect, don't you think? Lisa muttered but pushed on as they continued through the dense foliage. As they walked, Ethan tried to engage Lyriel. What's life like here in this forest? Lyriel paused, a hint of a smile playing on her lips. It is full of wonders. Creatures that dance in the night, trees that whisper stories. You will see when we reach the clearing. You make it sound magical, Ethan replied, intrigued. Is it dangerous too? She sighed, her expression turning serious. Danger lurks where ignorance dwells. The world is often divided between those who seek to destroy and those who strive to create. One must always remain vigilant. Lisa rolled her eyes. Great. So we're in the middle of a cosmic struggle. Ethan gave her a sideways glance, catching the spark of humor behind her worry. We're not fighting anyone right now, remember? Right, Lisa said, shooting him a lopsided smile. We're just aimlessly wandering through alien woods with a mythical being. No biggie. Lyriel turned back to them, her eyes locking onto Ethan's. There is more to me than what meets your eyes, Ethan. I see the bond you two share. It may protect you here. We're all we've got, Ethan said, hoping it would ease the tension building in the air. But we have to figure this out together. You're as much a part of this now as we are. With a soft laugh, Lyriel resumed her pace, her spirit seeming to lift. Together then? You were lucky to have each other. After trudging for what felt like an eternity, they finally broke through the trees into a spacious clearing. The sunlight poured in, casting a golden light over a small pond at its center. Colorful flowers surrounded the water, their petals swaying with the light breeze. Wow, Ethan breathed. This is beautiful. It's breathtaking, Lisa agreed, a genuine smile breaking through her earlier tension. Better than the view from the cockpit of that wrecked ship. Lyriel gestured toward a cluster of large, flat stones on the edge of the pond. We can rest here. As they settled down, Ethan took a moment to absorb their surroundings, feeling a strange sense of calm. He closed his eyes, listening to the rustling of leaves and the soft ripple of water. Do you think anyone else survived the crash? Lisa asked, breaking the silence. Maybe they're looking for us? I don't know, Ethan replied, opening his eyes. But we need to prepare for the worst. We can't sit here waiting for help. You must find shelter and food, Lyriel advised, her eyes serious again. And perhaps even tools to help you survive if you plan to stay longer. What do you suggest? Ethan asked, shifting into a practical mindset. We could start gathering some supplies. I can use what's left of the wreckage to build something useful. Lisa nodded, looking much more energized now. I can help with that. Let's see what we can salvage. Lyriel tilted her head, intrigued. You would build something from what could have harmed you? That's one way to look at it, Ethan replied, determination in his voice. If we can turn the wreckage into something useful, then it wasn't wasted, was it? You were brave, Ethan, Lyriel said, a hint of admiration shining in her eyes. And kind. Just trying to think smart, he shrugged, but he couldn't help feeling a swell of warmth at her words. As they began to gather resources, Ethan led Lisa toward the remains of the ship. Let's grab what we can use, tools, metal panels, anything. They sifted through the debris, Lisa grumbling as she wrestled with a large, twisted piece of metal. This is exhausting, she complained, wiping sweat from her brow. Just think of it as a workout, Ethan joked, lifting a smaller panel with ease. We're building an empire here. An empire made from scrap metal and broken dreams, she quipped back, grinning now. Lyriel watched them with a bemused expression, her hands on her hips. You humans have a curious way of finding humor even in dire situations. Gotta lighten the mood somehow, Lisa declared, wiping her hands on her pants. Besides, it distracts from the fact that we might be stuck here for a while. As they rummaged, Lyriel joined them, showcasing her understanding of the ship's architecture. This material is strong, perfect for making a shelter. It can withstand harsh weather. Good to know, Ethan replied, impressed. What else can we do with it? We can fashion tools from the electronics, Lyriel suggested, picking up a piece with delicate fingers. And I can help you create devices that might help signal for others. Signal? Lisa raised an eyebrow, intrigued. How would that work? A device that calls out to the stars, Lyriel explained. If there are others searching for your kind, they may hear it. Ethan's mind raced. That could be a solid plan. If we can reinforce the signal, it might reach further. Let's work on it. Fueled by newfound purpose, they spent hours crafting tools and planning their shelter. Under Lyriel's guidance, Ethan's mind began to visualize the structure taking shape. It was a blend of human ingenuity and Lyriel's innate understanding of natural materials. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, Ethan turned to Lyriel. Can we build this in a way that blends in with the surroundings? We don't want anyone finding our location. Wise, Lyriel replied, a spark of approval in her eyes. We can use foliage and branches to conceal it, ensuring that it becomes part of the landscape. Perfect, Ethan said, feeling giddy with the possibilities. Let's gather some branches and leaves. A little maintenance will give us the cover we need. Lisa stretched, a satisfied smile on her face. I can help you with that. Let's make this place feel more like home. As the sun lowered further, casting long shadows across the clearing, they worked side by side, confidence growing within their small team. Lyriel offered insights, Ethan provided direction, and Lisa kept things lively with her humor. What started as mere survival now felt like the beginning of something deeper, a friendship that would help them forge a path forward in an alien world. Chapter 3: The Dance of Souls. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting the clearing in hues of orange and purple. Ethan, Lisa, and Lyriel had spent the entire day building their shelter, assembling an ingenious structure of fallen branches and metal scraps that blended into the surrounding trees. As Ethan stood back, hands on his hips, he surveyed their hard work, suddenly feeling a swell of pride. It's coming together nicely, don't you think? Lisa wiped her brow, glancing up at the shelter. Not bad at all. I mean, if we weren't trying to survive here, I'd call this a successful camping trip. Lyriel observed the structure with keen eyes. It is well constructed. You have a talent for resourcefulness. Resourcefulness is one thing. Luck is another, Ethan replied, chuckling. But maybe a little of both has kept us here. The atmosphere shifted as the first stars began to appear in the sky, and Lyriel moved closer, her violet eyes twinkling. Let us celebrate the creation. Celebrate? With what? Lisa asked, arching an eyebrow. With your spirit and laughter, Lyriel said, a playful smile crossing her lips. A gathering of warmth is essential for the soul. Ethan felt a flicker of anticipation. Is that an invitation for a dance? Why not? Lyriel twirled lightly, her feet barely touching the ground, and the air shimmered around her. A dance connects the mind and spirit. Lisa rolled her eyes but couldn't help smiling. Only if I get to choose the music. I've never danced to the sounds of the forest. Then let us create our own, Lyriel declared, moving with an elegance that seemed to inspire the very trees around them. Ethan watched, momentarily entranced. How do you plan to do that? Lyriel took a deep breath, and as she exhaled, a soft melody filled the air like wind chimes stirred by an unseen breeze. The sound was ethereal, weaving in and out with the rustling leaves and distant bird calls. Whoa, Lisa breathed, her skepticism evaporating. That's incredible. Ethan grinned. I didn't know you could make music, Lyriel. I can call upon the energies around me, she said, her eyes glowing softly as she swayed to the rhythm she had created. It is how my people once celebrated life. All right, Ethan said, feeling the energy build in the air. Let's give it a go. Taking a few steps forward, he extended his hand to Lyriel. May I have this dance? A gleam of surprise flickered in her eyes, then she took his hand and he felt a bolt of warmth shoot through him. As they began to sway together, Lisa joined in, twirling and laughing. I feel ridiculous, but I can't help it, she said, her laughter mingling with the music. This is not what I expected when I signed up for space exploration. Neither did I, Ethan said, grinning back at her. But it feels good, doesn't it? Absolutely, she exclaimed, twirling again before stopping to catch her breath. Bet you never thought you'd find yourself dancing with an alien. Never crossed my mind, Ethan replied, glancing at Lyriel, who was still moving gracefully beside him. Yet here we are. Lyriel's smile deepened and she spun away, the music shifting into a more energetic tempo. The forest seemed to come alive with them. The leaves rustled in time with their movements and the night sky sparkled as if sharing in their joy. You both have spirit, Lyriel said, her voice rising above the melody. It is a gift. Ah, thanks. Lisa replied with a laugh. But I'd say we're just trying to survive here. Survival is not simply enduring, Lyriel countered, her eyes dancing with light. It is about thriving, embracing the moments. Ethan felt a connection pulsing between them, fueled by laughter and movement. Thriving can be about getting by, though, he remarked. We'll see how we feel when the dangers knocked on our door. Even danger can be faced with courage, Lyriel said earnestly, her gaze locking onto his. It is your choice to feel fear or joy. Touché, Ethan replied, feeling the sincerity in her words. Joy does sound more appealing. With that, Ethan and Lyriel stepped into a new rhythm, their movements syncing seamlessly, creating a dialogue without words. There was a grace in her steps that made him feel light. As they danced, he became mindful of the distance between them and soon the world around them faded. It was just him, Lyriel, and the music wrapping around them like a warm blanket. Okay, I'm feeling inspired. Lisa called out. Let's switch it up. What do you mean? Ethan asked, grinning. I have a spontaneous idea. How about a dance-off? She laughed, a twinkle in her eye. Back on Earth, we'd always have dance-offs to lighten the mood. Ethan exchanged a mischievous glance with Lyriel. A dance-off? I'm game, but I warn you, I've got some sweet moves in my repertoire. Lyriel raised an eyebrow, curiosity piqued. Show me then. Challenge accepted, Ethan laughed, stepping back with a playful salute. He twisted and spun, attempting to impress, though he stumbled at the end, earning a chorus of laughter from both women. Okay, that was not my strongest moment. Your enthusiasm is commendable, Lyriel said, her laughter melodic. But perhaps I shall show you how it's done. With a graceful wave of her hand, the music shifted to a softer, yet playfully upbeat tune. Lyriel moved with an elegance that took Ethan's breath away. She twisted and turned, her every motion fluid, melodic, as if the music flowed through her. See? Lisa said, eyes wide. That's how you do it. Ethan watched, completely entranced. Okay, now I'm feeling really challenged. You can do it. Lisa cheered. Just channel your inner alien. Ethan laughed, shaking his head. All right, here goes nothing. With newfound determination, he joined in, moving as best he could. The laughter echoed through the clearing, mixing with the sweet pulsing of the melody. Lyriel's expression turned playful. Show me what you've got, Ethan. The dance-off turned into a collaboration as laughter buoyed their spirits. They moved together, mixing their styles, creating an infectious rhythm that resonated with the forest itself. At one point, Ethan found himself face to face with Lyriel, their bodies naturally gravitating closer. The soft light from the stars illuminated he. Why, when you celebrate, you invite strength. Then I guess we should celebrate more often, he said. As the night deepened, the dance slowed, becoming more of a gentle sway. Ethan wrapped his arms around Lyriel, feeling the warmth and connection between them. Even Lisa was quiet now, resting against a nearby tree, her laughter replaced with a contented smile. Thank you for this, Lyriel said softly, her gaze holding his. You remind me of the beauty of shared moments. Same here, Ethan replied, feeling a tug in his chest. I never expected to find, well, any of this. As they stood together, the air thick with unspoken sentiments, Ethan realized just how much this bond had grown. In the midst of uncertainty and fear, they had found joy, a delicate dance in the face of the unknown. The stars above flickered gently as if sharing in their newfound camaraderie, and the forest cradled them in its embrace, a moment suspended in time. In that connection, amidst laughter and music, all they had to worry about was each other. Chapter 4, Shattered Silence. The next morning dawned bright and clear. Ethan awoke to the sound of birds chirping cheerfully outside their makeshift shelter. He stretched out, muscles sore but delighted from the previous night's festivities. The memory of laughter and dancing lingered, a warmth wrapped around him like a cozy blanket. Morning, sleepyhead. Lisa called from outside. I saved you some breakfast, if you can call it that. Breakfast? What are we eating? Alien mystery stew? Ethan teased as he climbed out of the shelter. Lisa did her best impression of a chef. I'm afraid it's just some wild roots and berries, she said, rolling her eyes. But it's the best we could find, you know, being stranded and all. Ethan chuckled and sat down at a small makeshift table they had assembled from branches and large leaves. I guess it's better than nothing. Lisa joined him, taking a bite of the roots she had prepared. Not bad, actually. You should try it. You know me, I'll eat anything if it means I'm not starving. He winked. Is Lyriel around? She went to gather more supplies, Lisa replied through a mouthful of breakfast. Said something about needing medicinal herbs or whatever. I admire how capable she is, Ethan said thoughtfully. It's like she instinctively knows this place. Yeah, it's a little creepy, isn't it? Lisa grinned, teasing him. You're totally enchanted by her. Well, can you blame me? Ethan asked, leaning back and watching the leaves sway overhead. She's not only beautiful but also has this knowledge of the world we don't. It's impressive. Okay, Lisa rolled her eyes with mock annoyance. I can see where this is going. Just don't forget I'm still here, all right? Never, Ethan replied. You're my partner in all of this. Damn right, she said with a wink, but her tone shifted to seriousness. But we need to figure out how to truly survive here and not just get by. At that moment, Lyriel emerged from the forest, her arms filled with an assortment of colorful plants and odd-looking fruits. I have returned, she announced, a bright smile illuminating her face. Did you find anything good? Ethan asked, rising to help her with the load. I believe these will be useful, Lyriel replied, her voice full of excitement. These roots have healing properties and this fruit will provide you both with energy. Looks like we've struck gold, Lisa said, giving Lyriel an approving nod. What do we do with them? Lyriel began sorting through the items she had gathered. The roots can be boiled into a tea which will soothe ailments and strengthen your bodies. The fruit can be eaten whole for vitality. Great. What's the catch? Ethan asked, suspicious but amused. There is no catch, Lyriel said, a hint of confusion in her expression. Nature provides, it is the balance that ensures life. Only those who take too much will suffer. Let's make the tea then, Lisa suggested. I could use some of whatever helps stave off feeling like a total wreck. Very well. We will boil it together, Lyriel agreed. As they settled around their table, Lyriel began preparing the roots, deftly handling them with her delicate fingers. Do you have tea where you come from? Lyriel asked, her gaze fixed on Ethan. Definitely. It's a big deal back on Earth. People drink it for comfort, relaxation, all sorts of reasons, Ethan explained as he handed her the leaves. Comfort. Lyriel echoed curiously. What does that feel like? Ethan paused, trying to capture the essence of the word. It's like when you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed, you have something familiar that helps you relax, he replied. A warm drink, a cozy place, just something that brings you peace. But I can bring you peace without needing anything, Lyriel said, her brows knitted in concentration. We can create it together in this moment. Well, I appreciate that, Lisa chimed in. But there's something special about little comforts and they help build connections. Lyriel suddenly looked thoughtful. Connections do seem to have a significant value for you. Ethan nodded. Absolutely. That's why we're here. We're figuring this out together. Once they had the roots boiling, Ethan found himself watching Lyriel closely. There was a certain grace in everything she did, from the way she gathered herbs to how she moved through the space. You really know your way around this place, huh? He remarked. It is a part of who I am, she replied, meeting his gaze firmly. You have your own strengths, Ethan. Leadership, humor, these are your gifts. Leadership? Ethan scoffed playfully. I'm just trying to keep us all alive. Exactly, she insisted, a light smile forming. And you do it with compassion. Most would panic in your situation. Well, panic doesn't help much, he replied, chuckling softly. But thank you. Just then, the roots began to emit a fragrant aroma, drawing Lisa's attention. Smells delicious, she declared. Not sure if delicious is the right word, but it's certainly aromatic. Let it steep a bit longer, Lyriel advised. Then we can infuse it with honey-like nectar from the fruit. Sounds like a plan, Lisa replied, looking over at Ethan. You ready to dance with those culinary skills? Why not? Ethan said. He grabbed one of the fruits, admiring its bright colors. Let's see what this fruit can do. As they sliced the fruits open, the sweet smell filled the air. Ethan watched in fascination as Lyriel demonstrated how to extract the nectar, pooling it into a small container. This will enhance the effect of the tea, she explained. Wow, you really have all the right tricks up your sleeve, don't you? Ethan said, impressed. She laughed lightly, a sound that made Ethan's heart flutter. It is survival, my friend. We do what we must. Speaking of survival, do you have any idea why those travelers were looking for your people? Ethan asked cautiously, his curiosity piqued. Lyriel paused, her expression shifting momentarily. They sought to harness the power of my kind to exploit our abilities. But the balance of nature cannot be controlled. That's awful, Lisa said, concern filling her eyes. We didn't come here to stumble into something dangerous. You are safe here, for now, Lyriel assured them. But remember that understanding is key. Those who do not respect nature often challenge it. Ethan felt the weight of her words. You're right. We've got to be careful while we explore. There's no telling what else could be lurking out there. Exactly, she said, her gaze steady. The fear only entraps you. Focus on what we can create and strengthen together. As they poured the infused liquid into makeshift cups, Ethan felt a renewed sense of camaraderie. Here's to survival, teamwork, and teas with strange ingredients, he said, lifting his cup. To survival, Lisa echoed, clinking her cup against both Ethan's and Lyriel's. They all took a sip and Ethan couldn't help but smile at the delightful sweetness that followed. Wow, this is surprisingly good. I'd call it a win. Lyriel beamed. It seems like you both have embraced it after all. Not bad for our first meal together on an alien planet, Lisa said with a playful grin. What's next? A 3-course meal. Let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet, Ethan laughed. But I think we can manage another meal together soon. The camaraderie filled the clearing, creating a brief moment of normalcy amid uncertainty. As they continued to sip the tea, ideas flowed freely, plans began to take shape, and they all realized something together. They were more than just survivors, they were a team. And amid the challenges that lay ahead, they would face whatever came their way, one day, one sip, one laugh at a time. Chapter 5, A New Dawn. The sun had barely risen above the horizon when Ethan stirred awake. The soft sounds of the forest greeted him, the rustle of leaves, distant bird songs, and the gentle breeze weaving through the trees. He heard the sleep from his eyes and stretched, feeling the familiar ache in his muscles from the previous day's labor. Morning, Lisa said, her voice soft as she shuffled closer to the entrance of their shelter, a small pile of berries in her hands. I figured we could use a fruit boost. Nice. What do you have? Ethan asked, eyes brightening at the sight of breakfast. Wild berries, Lisa said, handing him a handful. Better than nothing, right? And they're not poisonous, so that's a win. Ethan popped a berry into his mouth and tasted the sweet tang. These are actually really good. You've got a knack for foraging. I've watched every episode of survival shows, Lisa said, grinning. Guess it finally paid off. At that moment, Lyriel appeared from the edge of the clearing, her presence commanding and graceful. Good morning, friends, she said, holding a small bundle of herbs. I found some additional plants that may boost your energy. You really know how to start a day right, don't you? Ethan teased, laughing. What do you have for us today, Chef Lyriel? Vitality herbs, she replied, her smile bright against the green backdrop. They will enhance your strength and alertness. I thought it wise to prepare you for what lies ahead. Good thinking, Lisa said, nodding. What's our plan? We can't just keep scavenging forever. As we become more accustomed to this place, learning its secrets will be essential, Lyriel said, deftly separating the herbs. And understanding what dangers may arise. Right? We need to explore beyond the clearing, Ethan suggested, a hint of excitement coating his words. We should see if there are other resources we can tap into, maybe even clues about what caused the crash. Good point, Lisa agreed. And we can see if there are any signs of those travelers you mentioned. Ethan caught Lyriel's eye, gauging her reaction to their plans. What do you think, Lyriel? Is there anything we should be cautious of? There are always dangers in the unknown, she replied, her voice steady. However, if we remain vigilant and stay together, we will be prepared. With that, they finished their meager breakfast and packed a few essential items, a small tool, a few supplies, and the herbs Lyriel had gathered. So, what's the game plan for our grand adventure? Lisa asked, her enthusiasm bubbling over. Map it out for us, Captain Ethan. That's a tall order, Ethan chuckled, pretending to be serious. But okay, here's what we do, we stay together. We explore in a wider radius around the clearing, checking for food and potential shelter if we need it. And we keep watch for any signs or remnants of other travelers. Sounds like a solid plan, Lisa said, her spirit infectious. Let's venture forth into the great unknown. As they moved into the woods, the dense foliage parted gradually, revealing a blend of vibrant vegetation and towering trees. The air was fresh, filled with scents that flickered between floral sweetness and the earthy scent of rich soil. Keep your eyes open for anything unusual, Ethan said, leading the way. And watch your footing. Lyriel guided them effortlessly, moving through the underbrush as if the ground were an extension of her. This world holds mysteries, both beautiful and perilous, she remarked, her eyes flickering between the trees. Ethan nodded. What kind of mysteries? We're already dealing with enough uncertainty as it is. Some mysteries reveal strength, Lyriel said. Others can bring harm. It is a balance of encounters. Great, Lisa muttered, so it's a gamble. What's the worst that could happen? We get caught in some alien trap. If we do, you'd better believe I'll be the one to free us, Ethan joked. Before Lyriel could respond, a rustle in the underbrush caught their attention. They all froze, listening intently. It could be another creature, friendly or otherwise. What was that? Lisa whispered, eyes wide. Stay close, Ethan instructed. Lyriel, any idea what that could be? Perhaps a small creature, but it is best to be cautious, she replied, her voice now low and serious. They moved a little closer, trying to peer through the foliage. Ethan's heart raced. A glimpse of movement revealed a small, furry animal, its speckled coat blending perfectly with the leaves. The creature stopped and turned its head, its big eyes studying them. Whoa, look at that, Lisa breathed. It's adorable. Lyriel crouched down slowly. It is a harmless creature, and it appears curious. Do you think it's safe to approach? Ethan asked, eager to join Lyriel in observing the little animal. Be gentle, she urged. Let it see you don't mean harm. Ethan nodded. Okay, here goes nothing. He knelt and extended a hand toward the creature. It sniffed the air, its nose twitching. Slowly, it stepped forward, its little paws patting softly on the ground. Wow, it's not running away. That's a good sign, Ethan said, feeling a surge of joy. Just then, the creature darted forward, nuzzling Ethan's leg and making a soft chirping sound as it are against him. Lyria laughed, her eyes sparkling with delight. It likes you. Hey there, little buddy, Ethan chuckled, kneeling further. The small creature had now made its way into his lap, rubbing its head against him. You're quite friendly. Lisa laughed, taking a few cautious steps closer. What's it called? Lyriel shook her head. Names are often given by those who inhabit a place, but I do not know what this creature might be called. Let's call it Snickers, Lisa suggested, grinning. Because it's so sweet. Snickers it is. Ethan agreed as the creature settled comfortably against him. As they engaged in light-hearted banter with Snickers, Ethan felt the tension of their earlier worries fade into the background. In simple moments like this, they were reminded of the simple joys of companionship. Lyriel watched them, a smile softening her usual seriousness. You both have a light spirit. It is good to find happiness amid uncertainty. Speaking of uncertainty, Ethan said, petting Snickers gently, we should get back to the task at hand. This could be fun, but we don't want to be caught unprepared if anything unexpected happens. Right, Lisa said, still chuckling at the creature. I'm still not convinced everything's safe here. Then let's keep moving, Ethan said as he gently set Snickers down. Time to explore and find out what else this planet has to offer. They continued onward with Lyriel taking the lead again. The forest opened up, revealing clusters of colorful plants and strange-looking trees. Lyriel identified several of them in passing, explaining their uses and benefits. How do you know so much? Ethan asked, genuinely curious. I watched my people engage with nature, she replied. It is how I learned the elements of our world. That's impressive, Lisa chimed in. You've got a wealth of knowledge with you. Thank you, Lyriel said, her tone earnest. Sharing knowledge is important. It strengthens bonds. Ethan appreciated the way she spoke about it. There was a depth in her perspective. So, where do we go next? Any particular areas we should check out? There is an ancient path ahead that may lead to old sites of my people, Lyriel suggested. But we must tread carefully. The remnants could hold answers or dangers. Let's do it, Ethan said, excitement building within him. If we can learn more about the people who lived here, it could give us insight into our situation. As they pressed onward, a sense of camaraderie filled the air. Lisa's playful spirit lightened the mood, while Lyriel's wisdom and grace anchored them in purpose. Together, they would face whatever came their way, discovering not just the land around them but the strength that lay within each of them. With each step they took, it became clearer that their relationships were growing, not just for survival but as a trio determined to forge their path in a world that was anything but predictable. The challenges ahead loomed, but so did the possibilities. And with each other's support, they would embrace the journey.